and welcome to Green Voices. Okay, so currently we're in South Africa in a very bizarre year, and we find ourselves in lockdown on day 173. Today, I'm chatting with Rahb Spear to find out just what he's been up to and to see where he's going to. Welcome, Rahb.
Hi, how are you?
Good, not too bad. Thank you for asking. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you can share your ideas and your aspirations with the audience, and you can ignite a fire possibly under some of our wannabe you.
Okay, well, welcome, and thank you for the opportunity. I think just in a nutshell where I've been, I took a huge leap of faith in 2019 and left the corporate industry, which I know a lot of people have done, and I took some time off for myself, which was well needed after working for basically my entire life. And then I wanted to start up a business. And at that time, I had two business models that I was exploring. One was an online furniture manufacturing business, whereby you could customize what you, anything you wanted, your dream, whatever dream furniture you needed for a specific space. But that turned out to be quite a costly exercise in terms of the upfront costs. So I decided rather to step back from that and open up a company called Gym Nerd. And we specialize in gym apparel. So basically the idea came about from frustration from my side when I needed to purchase gym clothing in South Africa for what I was looking for. I couldn't find the quality, I couldn't find the sizing that fitted perfectly and or the longevity of the garment. So I found myself shopping overseas as a result, which caused a lot of frustration for me because of the lead time that you would have to wait for a product, then the import duties, etc. So I sat down and I thought to myself, well, I've got X amount of money available. Let me have a look at what I can create. So we went into production late last year of all of our product that we currently stock. And then we launched a few weeks before COVID hit South Africa. Nobody knew this would be happening. And, nobody guessed that we would be living in a time like this at all. Yeah. But what it taught me at the moment when we locked down into level 5 was that my business model may need to adapt and may need to change. And I have to start thinking out of the box. Being an online platform, I was already a step ahead of the pack. So, so that was set up, it was working, infrastructure was there. All we needed to do was get the clearance to be able to trade during that time. Of course, the government made it a bit tricky. And we were not allowed to sell gym apparel. So that put a feather in, it kind of broke the camel's back, so to speak. And we sat back and I said to my business partner the one afternoon, I said, well, we're going to have to innovate. And we're going to have to come up with an idea. There's no capital to invest in the product further. It's also we're now controlled by government at this point. So nobody can really do too much. So I came across a company here in Cape Town who is actually a costume manufacturer. And
bathing costumes.
A costume, like event costume.
Events, okay, like theater. Okay.
So besides having sombreros and whatever else they make, at the end of the day, they could work with us on a mask solution for clients, which gave us the ability to be an essential service.
Okay.
So linking back to the government piece, we now had the clearance in order to trade.
So you got your certificate saying, yes, I can distribute and I can trade. Okay. And that was when? That was in about April.
That was it was literally the first week of April that we got this up and running. So the idea was the masks are triple layer. They can have a filter put inside them, and they started out just being the normal tie-back version, plain black, and then you could customize any design that you wanted on it.
Oh, okay.
So what we found at that point was that clients really liked the fact that they could customize something. They could have their name put on it, or they could make funny jokes about South Africa and have that on the sides of it. And we did. We made very interesting masks during the time. Then I chatted to the supplier, and what was lovely about this was that the supplier was prepared to work on when you order, we will manufacture basis.
Okay.
And
So you
he,
put like a quantity in, and then they manufacture. So it
yes,
could be a tiny, small to a
yep,
rather big. Okay, nice.
yeah. So that helps from an overheads perspective and a costing perspective, both from his side and my side. So
Okay.
basically, I became the middleman between him and the client. Um, and at that point, we also sat back and said, okay, cool, we're in the mask business now, and this is doing fantastically. We were selling like 400 units a week.
Sure.
Um, it was
So, and that
unbelievable.
to businesses, corporates, to anybody and everybody.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
supplied a few cleaning companies. We supplied Distal here in South Africa with their 1,000 masks.
Sure. Okay.
Um, and then we started evolving the mask business in terms of what else could we do. So we developed a sports mask that allowed you to breathe. We developed the ear loop piece that was adjustable because some people's ears are closer, nothing fits. Then we put together another one, which was clear face masks. So that was for the hearing impaired. So it looks
Oh,
exactly like a mask, and it's
cool.
ties back, and
Okay.
it's completely transparent, so you can see all facial expressions. And
Sure.
then we started going, okay, cool, the mask business is starting to slow down a little bit now. Bearing in mind, we still haven't traded what our bread and butter actually is, which is gym clothing. So
Okay.
started reaching out to local businesses who are smaller sports businesses in South Africa. And we partnered with a company called Toned here in the Western Cape. They have stores outside all the Virgin Actives in selected malls.
Okay.
And, and then we partnered with Core, which is a manufacturing company up in Johannesburg. And he is a graphic designer by trade, a distributor by trade, and has his own brand. And
Okay.
so we formed a partnership there. And we formed a few more because what partnerships do is it gives double the amount of exposure to a brand. So we carry their product on our website, no cost incurred. That would be given to us to carry, and it would be on consignment. So
Okay.
we
So
can distribute it.
let me just get this. You have a website that just got your brand of gym clothing, and now you've partnered with various other
Mhm.
brands, locally manufactured brands, and
Yes,
designed. And they're
yes,
also sitting on your website now that anyone
yes,
can access. Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was almost about sitting back and going, you know what, we need to help each other out because the times are so uncertain that nobody knows which direction anything is going to turn. And people are, at the end of the day, if you find something on Takealot, great. But you may need to find something else and then you have to search. And it's too many platforms to go through, etc. So we've partnered with them. And I thought it was a good way of allowing small businesses to merge, yet you don't have any costs or overheads. Your brand look and feel is still intact,
Okay.
and you make money and I make money. So what COVID has really taught me to be is super agile and super flexible, and to be amazingly innovative and to think completely out of the box. Even though you have an online store, it's
Yeah.
how do you manage that process? How do you
Yeah.
still get to that customer?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the stats, you've read all the stats between online and stores. And as we went through the different levels of lockdown, there was changes in our business in terms of the uptake.
Okay.
And eventually we got back to the point where we were able to trade sports apparel, which
Okay.
was fantastic. And we started spiking up again in terms of sales there, and the masks were consistent. So,
Okay. So
so
that kept you a core side of it, and then this is
yeah,
your idea business, but that kept you going.
which is
Okay.
not what the plan was at all.
Okay, but you adapted to the changes. So you were able to, let's see how we can plug this in and work with the regulations and all these ideas the
Mm,
strange ideas that have been thrown at us. And then now that the Virgin Actives and all the gyms have been opened up, you're starting to notice, and plus it's summer, so everybody's looking at their COVID bodies and going, oh my hat, I need to get to the gym. And And you've got merchandise that's available for customers to come and shop at. Okay, so now I'm looking at myself as a shopper. Okay, what makes me go to your website, and what makes me trust you as opposed to like a Take a Lot, which we know the delivery happens. We know that maybe a particular brand is there that and their sizing fits. But then how do I know what you're selling, and how does it work with your size?
So in terms of us, we're standard sizing, and we have had quite a lot of clients during the period of lockdown who've emailed us or made contact with us through the website to say, look, they really want to order as soon as the levels change, but they are a bit nervous from a sizing perspective because they're not sure on the brand. And our response is simply order what you want to, and we will uplift if we have to and change it. It is not a train smash either direction for the client to. We've even gone so far as sending product to a client for them to fit it.
Oh, so fitting. Cool.
3 of each, vests in the medium, large, and extra large because they weren't sure. But we put size guides on our website.
Yes.
We also,
Which does help.
if the client asks, we'll guide them through the process of how you're supposed to measure. A lot of people don't have a measuring tape at home. So and it's a discussion about what other product you have. And then we can very quickly figure out what their size is. But with that said, we bend over backwards for clients. I personally, during the lockdown period, made sure that the whole of the Western Cape's orders were delivered by myself in my brand car. I had the certificates to move around through the roads, etc. Took all the precautions, made sure that the product was sprayed and hygienically handed over. And I think that makes a huge difference to the customer journey. So that was the Western Cape. I can't get to everywhere, obviously. But with that said, we've also been innovative in terms of our product and our packaging. So our packaging is one of the first in South Africa. It is basically, we sat down one day and we thought, okay, what can we do? Because when you go to a store, you feel a certain feeling as you browse and you interact with the product, which we need to try and replicate on the website. That's the first piece. Then the second piece is, how do you speak to the client post when they receive the product? Because most of the time you will receive a courier bag with a piece of plastic bag inside with your product in. If you're lucky, you'll get like a handwritten note or something personalized. So we went to the drawing board, and my partner is a design engineer, and we sat and we came up with a box which converts into a hanger.
Oh, cool.
As a second use, it is printed using eco-friendly material. It is an eco-friendly, 100% biodegradable cardboard box, and you receive it, and it looks fantastic, number one. Number two, it's personalized in terms of your greeting to yourself, and the instructions are on the back of that on how to convert it into a hanger if you wanted to. So your product can then be hung in your cupboard on your gym nerd hanger.
Cool. So it's a whole upcycling thing, and it's got that personalization to it. It's got, oh wow, and I love that, the whole personalization, and then so they use everything from that packaging. So you've got the whole unboxing experience, and then from that it just continues its life. Everything's used. That's cool. That's wonderful.
And we really wanted to break that barrier. So, we actually sat with our attorneys to discuss before we launched the box in terms of what do we need to put into place from a protection perspective around the patent. And we took out a patent on it because, and it's a costly exercise, but the reality is that any of the big retailers in the world could take this concept and adapt it just ever slightly.
And we know how much that happens here in South Africa.
A lot. And I know that there are companies that have ordered it specially to look at our box. There has been people.
I think I want to buy just to see the box now too.
I'll send you a box to have a look at. But the reality is that I think that's what makes the experience different on the other end. So yes, you may just order 4 masks or whatever it might be, but you didn't expect it to arrive in this very cool box.
Packaging. No, but it is. It's about the boxing and the packaging and the unboxing, because I think that's where Yuppiechef took that step ahead. I mean, now I know they've opened up their own standalone stores, but their whole drive was to keep it so that the experience comes from, the unboxing. You receive something and it's got this beautiful bit of wrapping paper, a little card, a little fridge magnet, those little trinkets that go with it that makes you want to go back for more.
Precisely. But the thing is, you do need to adapt that over the long term so that
Which
the
they did.
clients that are coming back are receiving something that is slightly different on their next purchase. So and lockdown has prevented a lot of manufacturing to happen. You haven't been able to manufacture product. You haven't been able to manufacture. I mean, there was a section where we couldn't get any marketing material done just because of the lockdown restrictions and nobody being allowed to work, which I think was ridiculous. But
yeah, because everything stopped. Was a dead stop in March, and then after they decided this whole smart unlockdown, all those needing certificates and that was hard. That was quite
tough.
Quite a rough period. Yeah, but now you see yourself. You see the vision. You see where you're going. You know where you want to be.
Yeah, and what I do see now is the gyms have opened, but what my little birdies are telling me all around the country who have either worked in the Virgin Actives or the Planet Fitnesses, etc., is, and there's no disrespect to those organizations, but there wasn't much assistance given to a personal trainer who has to already pay an exorbitant rental in that space during the period. From a financial perspective, I mean, remember, they're not serving any customers at all. Their income has gone from whatever it was to zero. Boom, finished and clear. So with that said, what I'm hearing through all of my grapevines is that there is a need for equipment for these guys who have left the gyms and they are starting small studios because clients are not feeling comfortable with the gym.
Everyone's resigning.
A lot of us are finishing our memberships off, including myself, because I have an autoimmune compromised situation. So if I do get it, I'll be taken out quickly.
So you're very cautious.
Very, very cautious. And as a result, I've decided I'm not going to return to the big gym. I would rather home train or alternatively do a smaller gym that's more controlled in terms of its hygiene.
Or a focused exercise or a focused sport.
Exactly.
As opposed to everything under one roof.
Precisely.
And maybe you only use one portion of it.
Yeah. And I'm watching how that whole process is unfolded now as the level has been opened for people to go into the gyms. And the feedback I'm seeing is simply that people are leaving. So there's a market. And we did discover this market during lockdown for dumbbells, adjustable dumbbells, which also cost a lot to make. But But with that said, there's no product. There's nothing available in South Africa at the moment because China went through a very interesting phase. They locked down, then they started reopening their market, and they were equipped to make big gym equipment. So
to supply the big guys. Okay.
And what happened during the lockdown was that everybody decided, we're starting to train from home. We don't have dumbbells. We need this. We need that.
Yeah, my husband's really designing his as well.
So the reality was that there was this market. I contacted one of our distributors in Durban who does exactly this. They supply gym equipment. And he explained it to me simply. The factories reopened and they stopped manufacturing the big equipment. They were not kitted out in order to make small equipment because there wasn't a big demand for it globally. Now the whole world wants it, so they restructured their factories, which pushed a 2-month time frame out on their side.
Okay.
Then that's
manufactured here locally in South Africa.
No, I'm talking about the China process for now.
This is Chinese process. Okay, so he just he imports from China.
Yeah, he imports from China, and 90% of the product is coming in from China. So we immediately saw a gap. We found 1 or 2 places, but they weren't good enough to make the product for us. It's what I've also found very interesting because I'm such an eager beaver during this process and thinking out of the box and running around and really coming up with ideas, and innovative and just thinking constantly. There are others out there who have decided to put the brakes on, which has shocked me. It took us 3 months to get to the point where yesterday I received officially my adjustable dumbbell sample. Not because that company was slow, it's because of the other companies that we dealt with for quoting, etc., that were just not, they're just not present. It's almost like I'm not sure you have a pit of money that I don't know about.
There's definitely a bit of brain fog, I'm finding, trying to get the ball rolling again and trying to, get quotes and I think everyone's almost got like this, these rules are in place now, there's regulations in place, and everything's like a step back, and you're trying to get going, but you stop the whole way along the way, and it's so slow. And
very frustrating.
And I know somebody like you as well, you like to get things done, and next one.
But what's very interesting for me is I said to my business partner the other day, I said to him, I think the new disease is actually not COVID. It's called COVID service. Because nobody is able to service you at this point. It's the most ridiculous thing. But like I said, we got our sample. We're super happy with it. We're going to be launching it this week. Basically, what it is if a client orders a 20 kilogram or a 10 kilogram, they will receive everything between 2 and 10 on that dumbbell. So you don't need to go and buy your full sets, which means you have to have a storage facility, etc. Now you only have one. And then the customer can also order exactly what they want. So if they only want a 4 kilogram, they can order a 4 kilogram.
Okay, or you can order the adjustable one. Okay, which makes a lot more sense.
It does, but again, some people only need a 4 and a 6, for example, and that's where they stop. So that's a new business, and so that's where we see we're going. But what we've also turned into a manufacturer. So we're finding companies and people out there who are looking for tights for a specific event, for 25 of their event ladies with a matching mask.
Pink lady, cool.
So we're becoming a manufacturer.
Okay.
And that goes to my point earlier that our business model was not what we are today. And
so you started as purely apparel, and then you expanded the apparel to different brands in apparel, then moved into equipment. Well, mask obviously ties into the whole as an accessory, so you'll accessorize as well. And then, so what I'm seeing here as well, if you shop overseas, say you choose a particular sport, like say you choose squash. I mean, here in South Africa, you can't go and find squash designed or outfits. You can only find maybe a little bit of tennis and then some skirts and that go with it. But you don't find a particular brand around it. So I think Sportsman's Warehouse maybe does a little bit of that, but the rest seem to keep it very open, and so you can't really focus on a particular sport and shop in that field. So now you're choosing gym equipment, and you say, okay, right. So you've got male, you've got female, and kids or youth, or do you only do male, female?
No, we do everything. We do everything. Okay. So from customers are coming to us at this point and looking for kids' masks with a matching jacket, jacket of all things. So we're making small little puffer jackets at the moment in gold and black with their individual names on it.
Okay, because
with individual name also in gold and black, and that has now started to turn out to be quite a lucrative, but also a fantastic business, because what it's done is it's linked the brand that we joined with, my mask manufacturer, and myself into one business, and we are helping each other financially through COVID. Okay,
that's good. Yes.
And I think that's the key, is
collaboration.
Give back as well, because I can be very selfish and say, no, I'm sticking to my one guy. I'm so sorry. You can't know who these people are. Nothing. No, the way is we work together and we collaborate, because greatness will come from that.
Yes, it has definitely. So you everything's sold through your platform, your online platform. Now you can't just call it Gym Nerds. You have to almost call it.
Have to rename our company.
But so
think that's how businesses are evolving, and I speak for mine, but um, with having to be adaptive, things can change, and you've got to allow that change to happen because that might be the direction of your company. So, coupled to this, my business partner, he decided he's going to register another company called Pet Nerd. So it all the Nerd brand.
We know the pets.
And it's an automatic door which you could purchase. We're going to decide where it's going to be sold, but it will be obviously be sold through us and maybe through some bigger partners. And it's an automatic door that slides open or raises up as the dog comes closer or the cat comes closer with the RFID tag. So if you sit in a situation where you have indoor cats and an outdoor dog, how does that work? You don't want the door to open or be pushed open by the indoor cats.
Okay.
Needs to still be able to get out. So that's how that innovation came around. So that's in line.
So you mean I no longer have to be the doorman that opens for the dog and then waits until the dog wants to come back in and open for the dog? I like that. I'm tired of being my dog's personal doorman.
And again, we went shopping around to see how much do these things cost. And there is one RFID available in South Africa, but the chips are the ones that are implanted in the animals, and they don't correspond with the South African chip configuration. So they're useless. So there's no point in actually even buying it. So he's engineering something that is small, compact, and easy to install in any door, and you will have that as a facility, and it doesn't need a power source. So, that's what I mean by you have to evolve all the time.
So now, with the whole government saying that Takealot cannot own the competition. So is that beneficial to you, or is that something you're really not really concerned about, or you actually quite like it?
For me, right now, we are actually about to partner with them. They have been amazing. They have opened up a small business support structure and allow any small business that sells any product to register with them. They take a 15%, obviously, for handling and doing what they need to do.
They've got the market.
And all you need to do is register with them. You go through, I think it's a 2-hour training that you attend, and then weekly you have to attend a marketing forum. And from there, your product is exposed to a further 10 million people as they search or whatever they're looking for. And then if the order is placed, you get a recognition from them. And in a day's time, they'll come and uplift the product from you and deliver it to the client.
Yeah. So you don't have to distribute anything. They handle all of that.
They handle it all. So with that said, we are partnering with them to open up that marketing piece.
Yes.
And have a reach.
Yes.
Because when you search for anything, who's the first one that comes up?
Takealot. Until Amazon gets you.
So let's join them, is what I'm saying. And I think that's their way of helping, because the government couldn't help the small businesses, which I disagreed with at the time. But I had to park my emotions and feelings around that and go.
No surprise. No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise in South Africa.
Yeah.
And with that said, then I think Takealot has been very brave to take this on and to partner with everybody. Then what we've also found is we found a few other creative companies up in Johannesburg, etc. And when I say creative, they're thinking similarly to us and Takealot. We're partnering with other brands. It's important. So we're going to be joining with them too.
So what are they? Are they in manufacturing, or are they in the whole online?
They're an online store. They sell everything from streetwear to gym apparel to masks to footwear. They're a generalist.
So you find that there's a whole lot of online shops that have opened up that are not joined into the Takealot side, but they almost like on their own platforms. So you're almost bringing them all together into like a collaboration. So almost like an online mall. Or like an online place where you can shop different shops, but it's not just one particular brand or one particular thing.
To anybody who watches this is Don't be afraid to venture into online if you're not in online already. It does seem daunting and challenging, but actually it's very, very easy and you can manage that process going forward. But with that said, I do think people need to put a longevity plan in place if they are online and start amalgamating with other brands and or standing as a single brand but delivering the most exceptional customer journey. Because if you are not breaking that barrier now, you are not going to get the customers.
Okay. Yeah, because you now been going for a year as an online shop, and you didn't go onto any platform like Shopify, or you built your own website.
We built our own website. We did try the Shopify story, and I wasn't very happy because their templates are very bland and boring, and I needed something that I could customize more. And we actually went to Wix. Wix is very unspoken of. It went through a bad patch a few years ago, but you're able to customize your website to whatever your heart desires. And, with us only going live online in March, well, basically the end of Feb is when we launched.
It's beautiful timing.
Yeah, it's just been one of those amazing things.
Which is actually, you're going to look back at it and you're going to go, wow, how brave was I?
And we follow companies like Gymshark, etc., overseas, which is a fantastic story. And I sit back and I think to myself, we have achieved greatness in such a short space of time, and being able to find that bread and butter wherever it came from, but also to preserve a customer experience all the way through.
Yeah. So next step is you becoming Patagonia for South Africa, one shop that has absolutely everything that you can think
of. Love that. But I still keep it purest to lifestyle, gym, fitness, and the whole eating healthy piece.
Healthy way for a healthy body.
Because I think that's the way. One thing that lockdown taught myself and a few other family members, etc., that I spoke to during the time we live around the world, that it forced them to be introspective and to sit down and actually look at how they manage their lives, and is it required to live so far from work, or is it required to travel the way that I do and waste all that fuel and pollute the universe? So I think there was some good from the entire world stopping. As freaky as I think there was some real good that it came out of it, and people wanting to support others. Those that didn't, well, unfortunately, karma can be a little bit of a not a nice one. So
that's true. It's like, definitely for me as well. It was a real. It's like a stop and check, a checkpoint on your life, and you go, there's so much we can achieve in this world, in this life together. So it's always great for me to connect again with people and to hear amazing stories and amazing journeys, and just to share that with as many people as we can.
100%.
Because you're on a great journey, and I think I can only wish you like 100,000% good luck and love and success. Everything that you do.
Yeah,
I think you're on a fantastic path. I really do.
Yeah, we just got to keep your head about you, and you got to follow what your heart is telling you every single day, and listen to your gut.
Okay, so now if anyone wants to get in touch with you, I'm going to put your web address at the bottom. Is there any other way? Can they find you? Where else are we seen? Are you on social media?
Yeah, as well.
Okay.
I'll actually send you those hashtags and the pages so that you can link that all. And then obviously you can put down my details as well. So if anybody does want to reach us personally, they can contact me.
Contact you. Fantastic. Thank you, Rahb. That was really very inspiring. And thank you so much for taking some time to speak with me.
Absolute pleasure.
Okay. Goodbye.